Today we are talking about boundaries. We know there are boundaries everywhere. There are boundaries between two countries, between two states, between two houses, even between two rooms in our own houses we have boundaries. But humans cannot make sense of mental boundaries, right? Hey, what's up? Why are you so dull? Arey yaar, what to say? One of my colleagues always passes his work to me. It gets so hectic and I can't just say no. Okay, I have been there. Why do you think it's difficult for you to say no? I don't know, it's just hard. I feel scared. What if he causes some trouble at work? What if he hates me? What if he tells everyone that I'm an arrogant person, I'm not helpful? What if everyone starts hating me? I don't know. I don't know why I feel this urge to seek validation from everyone. Why do I feel everyone has to like me? Relatable? I know saying no and setting boundaries is very hard. But why is saying no hard? Why is setting boundaries hard? Most of the people tell me it is hard because people will think that they are arrogant. People will dislike them. Here are two truths. One, you can't make everyone happy no matter how hard you try. Second, saying no and setting boundaries is very hard when you don't have enough self love and acceptance. When you don't have self love and acceptance, that's when you feel the urge to seek validation from everyone. We'll talk about boundaries today. We'll talk what are boundaries. We'll see some examples, boundaries with other people, boundaries with yourself. We'll see how to set and convey boundaries. We'll see what to do when someone doesn't respect your boundaries, and importantly, what to do when your families, especially Indian families, when they don't understand boundaries, what can be done. What are boundaries? Boundaries are the lines that you draw between you and other people or some other things. We'll see this in the last part. These are these lines you draw between you and others. You define this line as something that serves you the best. When someone crosses this line, you feel uncomfortable. That's a boundary. In other words, saying no to things that don't serve you is a boundary. For me, there are two types of boundaries. One is boundary with other people, and second is boundary with other things. First, let's see boundaries with other people. Let's see some examples, okay? One thing is physical boundary. When someone comes too close to you, when someone tries to hug you, if you are not comfortable in that, or when someone or your cousin or a friend uses your room or bed or your things without your permission, telling them not to do that is the physical boundary. The other examples are when you're working, if someone comes and disturbs you, telling them not to disturb you when you're working is a boundary. When someone keeps asking you personal questions, when they keep asking you things that you don't feel comfortable sharing, telling them, I am not going to answer this is a boundary. If someone keeps making a comment that you don't like on your body, on your appearance, on your hair, or anything, on your skin tone, or anything, telling them not to do that or restricting your interactions with them is a boundary. If someone invades your personal space, checking your phone, checking your computer without your permission, that is the crossing of your boundary. When someone makes a request that you cannot do or you're not comfortable doing, for example, your mom asking to visit that annoying relative, your partner asking for you to cook some special food when you're clearly not in a mood or you're tired, or someone asking you to dress in a certain way. Maybe once you're married, some people will start asking you to wear saris, not to wear jeans, wear sindoor, wear bangles. They're asking you to dress in a certain way which you're not comfortable in, telling them that no, this is the way I dress. That is your boundary. I hope you have got a clear idea of what are boundaries, and there are different types of boundaries that you set with different people. Now that we have seen the examples of boundaries and you know what are boundaries, how do they look like, now let's see how to set boundaries and say no. First and most important, drop the guilt. When you feel guilty after saying no, that bothers you more than saying a yes. So, drop that guilt. You can't possibly say yes to everything. You may not realize it, but when you say yes to something you don't want to do, you're already saying no to something that you want to do. If you're saying yes to that party, you're saying no to your sleep and well being. And the reverse is also true. When you're saying no to something you don't want to do, you're saying yes to something that you want to do. If you're saying no to that visit to that annoying relative's place, you're already saying yes to your mental peace, your relaxation time, or your work, anything that is good for you. So drop that guilt, okay? Second thing to remember, setting boundaries is not selfish. I know our societies have taught us this. It is ingrained in us that when we say no, we feel very selfish. No matter how deeply you are conditioned to feel selfish when you say no, your parents might have told you to be nice to everyone, to not say no to anyone. It is not selfish to say no. You need to start accepting that, and you need to uncondition yourself if you want to grow in life. It's okay to say no to your partners, your in-laws, your parents, even your kids or friends. It's okay to say no. I'm not saying you become rude or unhelpful, just start looking after only yourself. I'm not saying don't look after people, don't care for people. Be helpful, but only when you can, not at the expense of burning yourself out. Say yes, be helpful only when you can, but please prioritize yourself. Know that saying no is not selfish, because no one else can do that for you. You have to do it for yourself. The third thing to remember is that no matter how hard you try, you cannot make everyone happy. I want to tell you a story. There was a village. Father and son were walking on the roads in that village with their donkey. They had a donkey, okay? They were walking on the road. Some people on the road saw them and they commented, "You have a donkey. Why are you two walking? You can just sit on your donkey and you can nicely travel without getting tired." So these two people felt, yeah, that is true. They both sat on the donkey and they started moving. After some time, some other people looked at them and they were very unhappy with them. They said, "How can you put so much weight on this poor donkey? It's going to die if you do this. Only one person has to sit and the other person can walk." They said to the father, "You are old, you can sit on the donkey and your son can walk. He's young." They felt, yeah, that is true. And the son started walking and father still continued on sitting on the donkey. After some time, some more people on the way looked at them and they laughed at them. They said to the father, "You're anyway old, you're not going to live long. So you can walk and you can get tired a little bit. It's okay. Your son is young. He has to look after his health. He can sit on the donkey." The father got down from the donkey, son sat on the donkey, and they continued. Again, after some time, some other people looked at them and they laughed at them. They said, "You have a donkey, but why one of you is walking? Both of you can sit on the donkey." So you see, no matter what you do, some people are going to say something, some people are going to dislike you for something. You can't impress everyone, you can't make everyone happy. The fourth thing to do to set boundaries, it is to build self-love and self-acceptance. Like we saw, when we don't have that self-love, when we don't accept ourselves just the way we are, we always feel the need to impress everyone. We feel like everyone should like us, no one should hate us, or no one should be unhappy with us. So it is very crucial to build self-love in order to be able to set boundaries, to be able to say no to someone. How to build self-love? I have made a complete episode on that. Go check it out. Link will be in the description. Now that we have remembered certain things, we are building the self-love, now we are ready to set boundaries. The next thing to do is to actually set boundaries in your mind, or you can even write that down. Go back and check what is disturbing you, what is making you burn out, what is making you overwhelmed. That is where you need to set the boundaries. If your manager is asking you to work too much, if your coworker is asking you to work too much, if someone is disturbing you when you are working, if a relative is commenting on your weight or body or appearance, anything that you don't like, all these areas you need to set boundaries. Okay? Write down all your boundaries. Whatever boundaries you want to set, write all of them down. Now, the next thing to do is to say no or set boundaries or communicate boundaries with politeness, but while being assertive. For example, one of your coworkers is asking you to help out with his project, which is actually a lot of work, okay? What you can say is, "I know you're struggling. I would love to help you out, but I already have so much on my plate and I'll be burnt out if I take on this as well. So I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that." Here, some people say you don't have to say sorry, you don't have to apologize. That will make you look weak or something. But my personal opinion, it's okay to add a little sorry at the end because you're politely refusing a request. So I would add a little sorry at the end, like, "I would love to help you out, but I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that." I feel like adding a sorry will not make you look as a non-assertive person or a person who would budge with force, unless you're not budging when the other person starts forcing you. Let's say in this context, your coworker has asked you and you have politely refused it, and he says, "It's not much work, it's only a little bit of work, even I'll be helping you, so can you please do it?" You should stay assertive. You should not budge when the other person starts pushing the boundaries. Now you can say, "I know it's only a half an hour work, but unfortunately I won't be able to do it." That's it. Clear cut. No sorry again. Just you're sticking to your word, you're standing your ground, and you're not budging when the other person starts to push you. Another example, let's say your partner or your in-laws or your parents are forcing you to go to a family function. You really have other works, important works to take care of, and you don't really have the energy for it. So politely but assertively, you can say, "I would love to come to that function, but I have other things to take care of. I have some important projects going on. So, right now, I really don't have the energy to come to that function. I'm sorry, I won't be able to come. So, you see, you are conveying your boundaries politely, but still you are assertive. You are not budging no matter what. Next important thing to remember when you're conveying your boundaries is to remember to stress upon it's not against you, but it's for me. I'll give you an example. Let's say someone is coming and disturbing me when I'm working. Instead of saying, you are disturbing me, it is breaking my flow, I can say, I feel this way. I feel disturbed when someone comes and talks to me in between my work. It takes me a lot of time to get back to that task or whatever. How do I feel when you do that? So, can you please stop this? Can you please talk to me later? So, this is a way of conveying boundaries politely and without blaming the other person. You're saying how you are feeling. So, your every sentence starts with I, not you. Okay. Why are you asking me to visit that relative? You can say, I don't feel good after talking to that person, or I don't have the energy or time right now to do that. So your sentence always starts with I, and the stress is upon how you feel when the boundary is crossed instead of blaming the other person. I hope you're getting the idea. Instead of saying, you are always asking me to cook special food, I can't do that. You can say, I'm very tired. I feel really tired when I cook special food and I don't have the energy for it. So that is not possible right now. Instead of saying, you are always commenting on my weight, you can say, I feel disturbed when you comment on my weight. I don't feel good after that. So please, I want you to stop it. So your sentence starts with I, and the stress, you're stressing upon how you are feeling when the boundary is crossed instead of blaming the other person directly that they are crossing your boundaries. Now you have set the boundaries, you have conveyed the boundaries. What next? Next, expect people trying to push your boundaries. Expect them to try and manipulate you and force you to stop having these boundaries. Okay? People are not used to boundaries. People don't like the idea of boundaries. So people are always trying to push your boundaries, especially if you are a person who didn't have boundaries till now, or you are a person who didn't convey your boundaries till now, and you suddenly started putting your boundaries, conveying your boundaries, you started being assertive. People don't like that. People are going to try to push your boundaries. You need to expect that already. What is important is to be assertive, stand your ground. No matter what, you are not going to budge from your boundaries. You're not going to give in to anybody's manipulation and force. When can this happen? This can happen only when you drop the guilt, you accept that it's okay to set boundaries, and you don't feel the need to impress this person or seek validation from this person. You build enough self love to be able to do this. And the last point I want to mention when while setting boundaries and conveying boundaries is showing in action. Saying your boundaries through words, conveying your boundaries through words is one thing, but the second thing is to show it in action. When you told your colleague that you're not going to take up that extra work, extra project, show it in action. No matter what he is saying, how much he is forcing, leave at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever the office timings is, and then don't respond to further requests. When someone keeps asking you personal questions, keeps commenting on your body, on your appearance, anything that you're uncomfortable with, tell them, first thing, you are going to tell them not to do that. But if they continue to do it, limit your interactions with that person. Show it in action that I don't like this. This is my boundary, so I'm not going to talk to you much. Showing it in action assertively is very, very important. All right, now we have set the boundaries, we have conveyed the boundaries, we know how not to budge, we know how to show it in action. What if some people still don't understand your boundaries and they keep pushing your boundaries? It's hard. I'm sorry to break it to you. Such relationships are not worth having. You need to let go of those relationships. I know it is hard. It is very hard with some close relationships, especially. But understand this, when you don't have boundaries, you never have mental peace. You can never be happy without setting boundaries. If you value your mental peace, inner calmness, and if you value your personal growth, you have to let go of certain relationships. There is no other way around. So, what you do is first you set your boundaries with some people, you convey it through your words, and when they are trying to force you, you are not budging, you are standing your ground, and you're showing your boundaries with action. Even after that, if they keep constantly trying to push your boundaries, you have to let go of that friendship, relationship, that person. Okay, the next point is many of our Indian families, Indian parents don't understand boundaries. They don't know this concept of boundaries. What to do then? People ask me, how can I set boundaries with my family? close people without making them uncomfortable, without making them unhappy. I hate to break it to you, you can't. There is no way you can set boundaries with families without making them unhappy. They are going to be unhappy because they are conditioned in a way that they don't know the concept of boundaries. They think having boundaries is selfish. They think having boundaries is not okay. So you are going to make them unhappy. You are going to feel uncomfortable when you are starting to set boundaries. Like I said, especially if you are a person who didn't used to set boundaries, now you are growing, you want to set boundaries, you are also going to feel that uncomfortable feeling. You're going to feel scared, and it's okay. It's completely okay. Just know that this is just a part of the process, and with time, with practice, it will get better. And the second thing to remember while setting boundaries with families is that you need patience. Indian families don't understand the concept of boundaries. They are going to try to push your boundaries. So all you need is patience. I know it is very difficult. Just saying is very easy. I know it is difficult, but that's how it is. We can't do anything about it. Let's say you have told your parents that you don't want to get married right now, you don't want to meet guys right now, you don't want to even talk about it, but they still keep forcing you. Maybe they keep looking for alliances. They keep trying to push your boundaries. Here, when I say you need patience, you just have to be calm whenever the conversation comes up. Instead of getting aggressive, instead of getting emotional, being calm and trying to take your space helps a lot. And the next thing to do is to have a contingency plan. What is a contingency plan? Whenever the conversation comes up, maybe the marriage conversation comes up which makes you uncomfortable, that's your boundary, they're trying to push it. How can you calm yourself down? How can you handle those moments till your parents and your family is getting used to your boundaries? Maybe you could come up with a plan to go out of the house to a friend's place, or somewhere else. Go and take your time, just take some distance from people, do some breathing exercises, do a short meditation, maybe sit in nature, calm yourself down. This is a contingency plan. When you have put your boundaries and your family is trying to push that boundary, how can you sustain that? How can you keep your sanity intact at those moments? That's a contingency plan. And the next way to deal with boundaries inside families is with compromises. So if this is the boundary, if they are trying to push it, you just let them push a little bit, but still then stand firm there. If you take the same example, you don't want to meet any people for the marriage match right now, you can give them a little compromise saying that I'll start meeting people after 6 months. That's a little compromise. Still, you have your boundary. You don't want to get married right now, but you are giving them a time when you are ready to do that. Another example, if your family doesn't want you to dress in certain way, let's say they tell you not to wear jeans, a little compromise could be you will tell them, okay, I won't be wearing jeans in certain places, but other places I'm going to do that. So that's a little compromise from both sides, which will help you maintain little bit peace inside the house. So these are some of the ways you can set boundaries with your Indian families which don't understand boundaries. I hope they help you. Try it out if any this kind of situation is at home, and let me know how it goes. Now we have talked about setting boundaries with people. Let's talk about boundaries with yourself, boundaries with other things. What are these? This could be a boundary with your work. I won't be working after 7 p.m. I won't think about work on my weekends. I won't be working when I'm talking to my partner or playing with my kids. And other things like I won't be watching Netflix after 12 a.m. I won't eat sugary food more than once a week. So these are some of the boundaries that you set with yourself that will contribute to your long term success. To define these boundaries, what you can do is you can make a list of things that will make you feel good and things that will make you feel bad. Okay, this is a concept I came across in another YouTube channel by Tam Kaur. I hope I'm pronouncing the name properly. I'll give her channel link in the description below. You can check the video out. So after watching this, I have made my own list of what makes me feel bad and what makes me feel good. The things that make me feel bad are less sleep or sleep, too much social media, too much outside food, messy place, messy room, piling up the tasks and procrastinating, too much work, working too much without breaks. So these are some things that will make me feel bad. And there are things that make me feel good. The list is good sleep, letting my mind wander in breaks without instead of scrolling through social media, taking proper breaks like giving the proper rest to my brain by just sitting in silence, self pampering like face masks, hair packs, tidying my room, cleaning, eating healthy, moving my body, being on my mat, doing yoga, and doing meditation. These are some things that make me feel good. Okay. So here you can set boundaries with the things that will make you feel bad. So I won't sleep less than 6 hours. If too less sleep makes me feel bad, you can set the boundary like I won't be sleeping less than 6 hours. Similarly, too much sleep also makes me feel bad. So set a boundary like I won't be sleeping after 10 o'clock. More than 10 hours, I won't be sleeping more than 8 hours. I will not open my social media after 8 p.m. At least once in a day or once in 2 days, I am going to tidy up my place. I am going to clean my room. So these are some of the boundaries that you can set with yourself, with work, with other things, with your self care practices. These boundaries will help you stay calmer, stay happy, and stay motivated all the time. All right, that was about boundaries. I hope you are ready to draw your boundaries, convey your boundaries, be assertive, and take another step in your mindset makeover. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone who needs to draw boundaries and convey boundaries. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you again next week with another episode. Until then, happy makeover.